Did I share, Prabhu? No, right?
I'm on the other screen, Prabhu, YouTube, and I'm just.
I don't think I didn't share the thing.
You may start, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Guru and Gauranga. I have no qualification to speak on the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is really qualified scholar subject. But whatever I could speak is just the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and other speakers who spoke on this subject matter. I seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas, dear Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, and our deities, Sri Nitai Gaur Chandra Bhagavan, so I can speak something beneficial for everyone and also bring some transformation for me. Okay, that let's recite prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nastapprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtakim Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 8, titled Dhruva Maharaj leaves home for forest, text number 21. So let's recite the verse. तथा मनो भगवान् पितामहो यम यम एकमत्य पुरुदक्षिणैर्मखै इस्त्वाभिपेदे दूर्वापमन्यतो भौमं सुखं दिव्यमथापवर्ग्यम्. Synonyms: Tatha, similarly, Manu, Swayambhu Manu, Vah, your, Bhagavan, worshipable, Pitamaha, grandfather, Yam, unto whom, Ekamatya, with unflinching devotion, Uru, great, Dakshinai, charity, makaihi, by executing sacrifices, istva, worshipping, abhipede, achieved, durvapam, difficult to achieve, anyataha, by any other means, bhaumam, material, sukham, happiness, divyam, celestial, atha, thereafter, apavargyam, liberation. Translation. Suniti informed her son, your grandfather Swayambhu Manu executed great sacrifices with distribution of charity, and thereby, with unflinching faith and devotion, he worshipped and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By acting in that way, he achieved the greatest success in material happiness and afterwards achieved liberation, which is impossible to obtain by worshipping the demigods. Purport. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The success of one's life is measured by one's material happiness in this life and liberation in the next. Such success can be achieved only by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Ekamatya mean concentrating one's mind on the Lord without deviation. This process of undeviating worship of the Supreme Lord is also expressed in Bhagavad Gita as Ananya Bhak, that which is impossible to obtain from any other source, is also mentioned here. Other source refers to worship of the demigods. It is especially stressed here that the opulence of Manu was due to his undeviating faithfulness in the transcendental service of the Lord. One who diverts his mind to worshipping many demigods to obtain material happiness is considered bereft of intelligence. If anyone wants even material happiness, he can worship the Supreme Lord without deviation, and persons who are desirous of liberation can also worship the Supreme Lord and achieve their goal of life. So, just to bring it to introduction, like until now, what happened, like in the beginning, in the first verse, Maitreya Muni explaining Vidura. So for some chapters, I think Vidura asked some time back to explain the hierarchy of the Manu's dynasty, and that, like, he was explaining, and in this chapter, like, they were talking because this Dhruv Maharaj store pastime, so where he's trying to explain again the little bit on the dynasty of the family history of Manus, and it started from Brahma, and explained some of the sons like Narada and Kumaras, they were all like renunciated, and then they become nice brahmacharis. Uh, and then also in some of the verses explained about the adharma, where like how the brothers and sisters got married and how the adharma, envy, and other things got uh, took place in this material world. And then the next thing he was started explaining about the Swayambhu Manu and his sons, uh, Uttanapada and what other name. But yeah, Dhruv Maharaj is son of one of the wives, Suniti. Uttanapada has two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. And Suruchi's son is Uttama, and then Suniti's son is Dhruv Maharaj. So, and when Uttama was on lap of Uttanapada, uh, so Dhruv Maharaj saw it and he wanted to have the same experience what Uttama is feeling, and he wanted to. So he tries to get onto his dad's lap, but his Uttanapada didn't encourage him to get on. At the same time, the Surichi, who is beside the same place, uh, told Dhruv Maharaj that you are not entitled to sit on your father's lap because your mother is not a favorite wife, and you need to be born out of my womb in order to sit on your father's lap. So at the same time, she suggests him to go and do tapasya for Vishnu so that he can take birth in Suruchi's womb and he can sit on the lap of his dad. So very distressed, Dhruv Maharaj runs to his mom, crying. Already his mom knows the situation, what happened there because of the servant maids. So, but when Dhruv Maharaj comes, she's very compassionate and upset. And these were one of the greatest learnings as parents. We can take like how Suniti handled the situation, though she is in so distress because her son has been humiliated in front of the whole the palace. But the way she explained, me, she had like multiple choices. One is that in a general current world, parents try to say negative or which is kind of encouraging and consoling for it, but in a inner meaning, it might create negativity or like envy or other things in the child's heart. But instead, she responded in such a way that she directed Dhruv Maharaj's mind towards Krishna, where so here and then she started giving the examples, and then she explains all the things what happened, why she is not, even though she is one of the queens, but she is not favorite to his dad, and so he doesn't treat her well. But then she says, like, whatever Surichi said is right, and then you should approach Supreme Lord. And then she was explaining the things like in this words, like where basically she's talking about like how Swayambhu Manu, by serving Supreme Lord and performing sacrifices and charities and all, like how he become successful, like he's materially fully accomplished, and then also he got liberation and heavenly planets and everything. With there's a word where it said like Ekamatya in the text, but where Prabhupada translate that as with single pointed con, like concentration. So another point what we could take here is so the material world is full of miseries and distress, and everyone has to go through the things. Only thing is how we react or respond in those situations. So I know that pain can lead to a lot of anger, depression, revenge, or envy, like hurting others, like many things. So that's one choice. And the other choice, what we could do is like when our consciousness is rightly placed, so we can go towards Krishna, means like taking shelter. And this what like here Suniti was accepting Dhruv Maharaj's pain, means conveying, but she's saying that you should not develop envy or anger towards your stepmother or your father or Uttama. but instead you should try to pray for the things to Supreme Lord so that you can get better benefits. So in the same context, like if you look at the Kunti Maharani's prayers after end of all Kurukshetra and everything, Kunti Maharani said the same thing to Krishna. So let calamities come again and again so you can be with us. Why? Because they think that when they're in good situation in their lives, so she is worried that they might forget about Krishna because of this luxuries or enjoyment or other things, whatever are there. So her prayers were like saying that let calamities be again and again so we can remember you and you can be with us always. Pandavas are never, even though Kauravas were doing so much against them, but they're never bitter, but they always got better. Always they got better in their things. So here also it's the same thing. Like even though Suruchi cursed him or like angry, and then she gave him so many negative emotions, still her mother turned those emotions into positive, and uh, even though it's a curse or like whatever insult came, but it's kind of a great blessing. If Surichi would not have done it, so maybe we might not have seen a Dhruv Maharaj, a 5-year-old boy, like going to the forest and how much he achieved. So that's so also at the same time, like Suniti did told Dhruv Maharaj about worshipping Lord Vishnu, but that was not just a philosophy point, but instead, like she started giving examples, saying that, okay, your grandfather, Swayambhu Manu, did all the things. And so basically, this is kind of an, again, reference from the Bhagavad Gita, right? So where Krishna says, Yadid Acharate Shrestha. So where the general people follow the great personalities. So this were like she's giving example of his grandfather, how he attained success by following the things, spirit, surrendering to the Krishna, worshipping and performing sacrifices and giving charities. So, and same thing, like always, like when we hear the lectures from Srila Prabhupada or Guru Maharaj or anyone like seniors, like we always hear examples from the scriptures, how they followed, so we can get inspired and then we can practice our Krishna consciousness seriously. So this is where all the thing happens. The consciousness matters here. When we face the difficulties, are we taking shelter of Krishna or thinking how the previous acharyas or anyone like would respond to those similar situations instead of thinking, what do I feel like doing it? Like means many times if our consciousness is not right and we are not grounded, so a lot of times the mind will take over and then say that, okay, he did this, so we should do something, a tit for tat action, activity or action for towards it. So, and then this one pointed, concentrated determination. So same thing like in Bhagavad Gita, again, Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. So single pointed intelligence. So the opposite means like it is like many pointed things. So when our mind is not uh, pointing or working towards one single goal, so it would be like multiple activities, like, and it would be fully distracted and won't be able to do anything. So many times we hear this word like uh, jack of all, master of none. So it would be like means it would be going everywhere, but it's nowhere. And also the practice in Krishna consciousness is kind of one of the activities a person can do in the material world. Then it's like a single pointed consciousness, determination. So we can see an example here, like if we put a paper in sunlight, it all the rays scattered wouldn't do anything to the paper. But like at the same time, if you put a magnifying glass to bring all those sun rays into concentrated point, those rays would burn the paper. So it will create so much heat, so much concentrated heat. So the difference is because the focus, like all the rays have been focused into single point. So, so in this case, like if we see like Dhruva perfectly performed this very sincerely, like if we see like little later in the story, like he goes to the forest and then he is so determined. Narada wanted to distract him or to test before giving him the mantra to meditate upon. Uh, but Dhruva was determined. He says like, okay, if you're not able to help me, that's fine. So I'll go and find someone else who can help me. So at the same time, like if we look from Mahabharata, so when Pandavas and Kauravas are in the Dronacharya's ashram for the trainings, and while teaching the archery, Dronacharya wanted to test the focus of each student. Then he puts a wooden bird on a tree in some small corner, very small bird. And then he suggests the students to uh, shoot the eye of the bird. And many of them, no one could able to really see it. Like some says, like I saw the branch, someone say I saw the leaves, and so different things. But when the turn, Arjuna's turn comes, that's where like when Dronacharya asks, like, what are you seeing? He explicitly says he's seeing the eye of the bird. Uh, I only see eye of the bird. So that's what it is. So similarly, always a devotee sees Krishna as life's central purpose. Like also we hear like many times we hear this thing like uh, use the things in the service of Krishna. So only thing when we keep our purpose as center, Krishna as the center, so all our life activities will become, and then we will think through the perspective of Krishna, like means taking care of family. Like a devotee would think that it's a because the family is entrusted under me, so I need to take care of them, and this is a service to Krishna. So, but a material person might not have the same thought. Like means when uh, so that's one thing. And because since I need to take care of my family, because who is entrusted to me by Krishna, so I need to earn money. So you make money and then you take care of the family. So because you need to feed the family. So since how do I feed my families? Then offer the fruits, whatever we earn through the work, to Krishna first as a head, like a responsible person, and then we feed to the family. So, and also Krishna says, again, Bhagavad Gita 9:22, Yogakshema Vahamyaham. I provide to the devotees who worship me what they lack and also preserve what they have. So even so that we also hear this analogy like water the root than leaves. By watering the root, the leaves become nourished automatically. But it's not the vice versa. Like if we just water the leaves, they might not get nourished fully because the water gets absorbed through the roots of the tree and then it get transformed to the leaves. So we can keep worshipping instead of worshipping all the demigods individually, because for every activity in this world, like we have so many demigods to take care, even every function of every limb in our body is also taken care by a demigod. So it would be very hard to pray to each and every one. So instead, like we should pray to Supreme Lord, so we can, everyone else can be satisfied by worshipping Supreme Lord. So, and here, like another thing, like charity and sacrifice, the purify the wealth. So when we earn so much wealth, and if we perform the sacrifices and then give the charity to the needy people, so which will also purify and then which will take us that false ego that I have this much wealth or I have that much and all that emotion. So we can be like a little bit free. That purifies us. And then, yeah. So just to conclude, yeah, so only thing is that like with the today's world, like so much social media and so much distracted minds, like focusing is so hard. And every time, so there is a, like this material goals will be keep changing. So once I get this, I wanted this. Like once I until I get a job, so I feel that oh, I need to get a job. I need to get a job. Once I get the job, so then I look for promotion. So once the promotion comes, like I have this, so then we have a homes. I want to have a bigger home so I can be satisfied. So that's good. But when we have the bigger homes, then we look for something else. So all these goals are like keep changing, changing, changing. So instead, like when we have the single pointed ekamatya, like single-minded focus on Krishna. So, and Krishna would take care whatever is needed for us to be happy and where we can serve him nicely. And when we are in that mode, so everything will become a service. Like career is a become service, family is a service, and whatever money we are getting, we can use in the service of Krishna. Home becomes service because we use the home in the service of Krishna by hosting the home programs or keeping the deities and serving them. So this is what my thoughts on this. And please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong or incorrectly. And I'd appreciate if you can, anyone wanted to share their thoughts on this. Thank you. Okay, devotees, Hare Krishna, thank you, and wish you all have a Krishna conscious filled day. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Hare Krishna.